Looking at the way Harry treats the Princess of Wales now, very few would suspect that once upon a time he loved and praised his sister-in-law. The real turning point in Harry's transformation was the moment that he met Meghan, and we can say the same about Omid Scobie. Let's find out exactly how these changes occurred and which is the trustworthy story in this video. Welcome back to my channel. Both Harry and Omid Scobie have said a lot about Princess of Wales, but before and after Meghan entered the picture, it was totally different. As we can clearly see, Harry had so many good things to say about Princess Catherine. I mean, once upon a time, he talked about how kind she was, and that he considered her like a sister. And the images where you see them appearing in public together, you can see how happy they are to be together. Their smiles are sincere. They thought of each other as just part of the family, but now this relationship has been absolutely destroyed, all because of Harry and his narcissistic evil wife. In my opinion, Meghan's narcissism is not even up for debate. It is obvious. But I find it pretty incredible that one single person can cause so many other people to change the narrative altogether. So maybe everything happened because she controls Harry. Meghan saw Harry's jealousy, she saw his obsession, and she used it to manipulate him. It wasn't difficult. And now Harry's behavior is even more appalling than Meghan Markle's because once upon a time he was so close to Catherine. But see, Harry chose to betray her, and he stabbed her as well as the royal family in the back. I couldn't believe when Harry said that his own brother didn't marry for love, that it was just for status. I was disgusted. And then we got this whole series of accusations of racism that were aimed at the family, including Catherine. And combined with old Scooby-Doo, Harry really directed the spear of hatred at the people closest to him, people who once upon a time loved him, took care of him. It's crazy. When I look at old photos of Harry and Catherine in public together, happily chatting and laughing together, I just can't believe everything that has happened. Harry's feelings of jealousy and resentment were basically a smoldering fire inside of him, and it had been burning for a long time. And Meghan is like a big old jug of gasoline that was poured right onto that fire. See, Meghan Markle is a common denominator in all of these problems. She's the one who loves to destroy families. She destroyed her family, his family, even the Suits cast has a lot of problems with her. She alienated Harry from his old friends. What about her old friend, Jessica Mulroney? All her former friends, too. I mean, there are so many, I can't even list them all. Sadly, though, Harry has just been complicit in all of this horrible behavior. Meghan Markle could not be doing any of this nonsense without his input and without his agreement. Both of them are equally horrible. They have caused so much stress to the royal family, but you know what? They haven't managed to really damage the royal family, thank God. In Harry's own words, his stupid book Spare was written to depict the man that he has become. According to what Harry himself said, his book Spare was written to depict him as the man he has become. Okay, so let's look at that. What, a victim? Somebody who was born second? Somebody who doesn't care about the truth, only cares about his truth? He claims he's just a spare, so nobody has ever cared about him. Whatever. What is he talking about? The royal family has loved him his entire life. They have covered for him, they have protected him, and people in the UK too. It's because the people of the UK really loved Harry that they feel so upset with him now. And it's not only about the attacks against his family, it is a personal slap in the face to the people of the UK. If Harry had just chosen a suitable wife, he could have been a very successful working royal. Maybe eventually he's going to figure things out, but the bridges that he has burned can never be rebuilt. I suspect that if there's even a small chance of turning back, Harry would leave Meghan right now. He would get himself into therapy. I hope that he could get off the drugs, and he would need to be kept out of sight for a very long time. Maybe he could go to Africa and help some people, but unfortunately, I don't believe this is going to happen. If we are being honest here, the British people loved Harry for what the palace portrayed him as. We're seeing the real Harry, and he's not so lovable. Harry has found it easy, apparently, to just cut out the people closest to him and treat them with absolute hatred. I feel so much sympathy towards Catherine because she got along very well with Harry, and she had to grieve the loss of that relationship while also defending herself emotionally from all the horrible attacks against herself and her family coming directly from Meghan Markle, her evil sister-in-law. But it doesn't matter. Catherine has maintained her class and dignity. It doesn't matter what has been thrown her way. And now the media keeps on bringing up that Harry and Meghan are concerned and they're trying to reach out to help Princess Catherine. Ugh, I don't know what they're talking about. And then supposedly Harry has regretted what he said about his sister-in-law. Come on, it's enough. Just stop it. There is no way those two liars feel any remorse. They don't care about the victims that they are so cruel towards. It's just them trying to pave the way for them to come back to the UK and get in the spotlight once again. The last thing Catherine needs, though, is a couple of traitors like Harry and Meghan in her life. I mean, she's got her husband, she has her beautiful three kids. She also has a lovely brother and sister, and her parents, too. And who does Harry have? Oh, he has an evil succubus. In my opinion, Harry needs a better writer to help him next time, a better ghostwriter, or maybe he just needs to have a better memory. Seems like he really pushed the self destruct button this time. I mean, his horrible behavior towards his grandmother, his grandfather, his father, his brother, his sister in law, it's just all too much. It's outrageous. For one who once held such promise, Harry really has created a sad legacy for himself. And it seems like Harry's too easily manipulated. I mean, Meghan Markle and Meghan Markle's mother, too, would completely control him. He's just willing to say whatever they tell him to say because I guess he's so desperate for their approval. He agreed with Meghan that he could still be the star even if he left the royal family. See, I guess Harry viewed Meghan as his ticket out, and he thought they were going to be able to make it in Hollywood. Honestly, though, maybe it would have been possible for Harry alone, but not with Meghan. Meghan Markle, I guess, gave him the path. They were both wrong, obviously. And I do believe Harry has always been a jerk. I mean, we've been seeing more and more stories coming out about his past. He is like Meghan in that he demands everything be done his way. The palace just did a good job of covering that up. And that's why I do believe that the Harry we see today is the real Harry. I think he's always had some serious problems. Harry, I don't believe, really changed after meeting Meghan. It's just that after they walked away from the royal family, the palace wasn't going to help them out with their PR anymore. The thing is, the evil that resides in Harry's soul cannot be restrained, and Meghan just amplifies things. I always thought that Harry could be destructive, and I thought that he was protected within the family. But now Meghan Markle has unleashed the worst of him. But you know what? They chose to go down this path. This is their own fault. And Meghan was extremely jealous, probably continues to be jealous of Harry's relationship with his sister in law. Because, see, a narcissist like Meghan cannot stand being outshone by anybody, especially another woman. So Meghan had to destroy that relationship so that Princess Catherine couldn't influence Harry to be a better person. See, Meghan Markle was busy training him so that she could control him completely. So she lied and claimed that Catherine was so mean to her, made her cry and wouldn't share and other stupid stuff like that. That's how these narcissistic types, though, separate their prey from the people who love them. It's crazy, though, when you think about it, though, that Harry's supposed to be an adult and he was so easily led. Harry's thoughts about the Princess of Wales changed completely when he met that nasty, nasty witch Meghan. Harry was a lot happier when William and Catherine got married on their wedding day than he was on his own wedding day. He looked like he had been sentenced to prison because that's basically what was happening. I will never forget the look I saw on his face when he turned around and saw Catherine walking down the aisle. And he looked absolutely miserable throughout most of the wedding to Meghan Markle. At William and Catherine's, though, he looked overjoyed. Catherine has always called Catherine the sister that he never had. Clearly, they were very close. They had a nice little group of three, William and Catherine and Harry, and they went to all kinds of royal engagements, and they always seemed to have a great time together. They could make each other laugh and giggle until Meghan entered the scene, and then all of a sudden, Harry had no use for Catherine and nothing good to say about her. In an early interview, Harry said it himself. I didn't know how bad my life really was until Meghan explained it to me. She helped me to see the truth. I forgot exactly what he said, but it was basically that, and he made it obvious that he didn't know how horrible he had it until Meghan let him know. You see, narcissists are vindictive and manipulative, and narcissists can cause a lot of damage. They can destroy families. This is like Meghan chooses her victim, they're not going to know what hit them. And it's even worse when the narcissist despises the family from the start. Meghan used to write some really ugly things about Catherine and Pippa in her stupid blog, The Tig. She was jealous of Catherine before she even met her. So she just decided to push her negative energy onto Harry so that she can control him. And he, like an idiot, just listened to Meghan without thinking twice. But now we're supposed to believe that he regrets it? No, I'm not convinced. It takes a long time to write an autobiography, even with the help of a ghostwriter. Harry had plenty of time to consider what was going to go into print. If at the time of writing he thought that it was just fine, he didn't have anything on his conscience, then why should we believe that now he regrets anything? No, he's just trying to clean up his public image, but it's way too late. There is no hope for either of them. We are done with them. It's obvious to me that the lies are coming directly from the gruesome twosome. See, liars need to have a good memory, though, and those two don't because of all the drugs they take. It's obvious Harry and Meghan cannot remember anything. And the funny thing is, Harry just makes all these mistakes and Meghan doesn't help him. Truth is, Harry always admired his older brother before Meghan entered his life. He wanted to be mature like him. He wanted to be intelligent. He wanted to have a steady, stable girlfriend. And there is nothing wrong with that. But then that feeling of admiration was turned into jealousy because I guess he always felt inadequate when compared to William. Now, in the Netflix docu-series, he mentioned that nobody ever thought that he could get somebody like Meghan. Okay. I mean, what that shows us, though, is that Harry had and probably continues to have very low self-esteem. When you mix that with drug abuse and his public profile, obviously he's a complete wreck. And unfortunately, Meghan Markle took full advantage of this wreck. So now thinking back to what Harry said about Catherine, the Princess of Wales, it is obvious that they are two completely opposite versions. But it's also not difficult to see where the truth is. Not just in what Harry said before Meghan, but also the photos do not lie. There are literally hundreds of photos out there of William and Catherine and Harry looking so happy, having a lovely time together. And then if you look at the after Meghan photos, you can see a big change. Harry looks miserable. He looked a lot older too. If he's really so happy and thriving like he says, does he look like hell? Harry and Meghan and then Scooby-Doo too are so ridiculous to believe that most people accept their stories as truth. Nobody does. Biggest problems is Harry and Meghan and Scooby-Doo just believe that the public is going to accept their stories at face value, but of course not. I can't imagine their lack of understanding. So many disgusting things from them that I can never forgive. Both Harry and Scooby-Doo have managed to put themselves in the position where they are liars. So it doesn't really matter what they say, it's not going to be believed. I think Harry is a prime example of how evil can really affect people who are exposed to it, especially people who are in close contact with evil for extended periods of time. The truth is, many of us do have narcissistic tendencies, but when we're children, we learn that it's more important to be a good person, and so we learn to suppress those urges. But for some people, constant exposure to evil can really bring those traits to life in a very intense way, too. I think Harry and Omid Scobie are perfect examples. But of course, I'm not excusing their behavior. They're the ones who decided to follow in the path of evil. And my friends, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope that you had a great experience listening and watching. If you agree with my opinion, please like and share. Your love truly is our motivation. And if you have a different opinion, please let me know in a comment so that we can talk about it together. Please don't forget to subscribe to receive notifications when the newest videos are updated. We're going to be back as soon as possible with more interesting videos. Thank you so much for tuning in, and goodbye.